Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Tracey, and welcome to our channel, Retirement in Color, where we are chronicling our journey through early retirement and building a lakefront home in Alabama.
And today's topic of discussion is how to pick a real estate agent, because in life, that is one of our biggest decisions we ever have to make. You know, besides picking the person you want to spend your life with, but your home is one of your largest investments. And if you're buying, you want to get the best bang for your buck. And if you're selling, you also want to get as much out of your property as you can. And we need a professional to help guide us through that process.
Yeah, and really we need every penny we can get out of this house to help us fund our build in Alabama. So this was a really huge decision for us and a very scary decision.
We both came into this with different levels of real estate experience and different histories with agents. I had a house that I'd purchased previously, well, a couple houses that I'd purchased previously, including this one, and I'd learned from that, and I had an agent who helped me with this purchase.
Mm-hmm. And I had a wonderful agent that's helped me with 3 transactions so far. One of them being when I bought a house, she actually helped me negotiate the price of the house down even further after I was in contract. So she was just wonderful.
And so we then said, well, who are we going to pick? And we really didn't know. And I'm kind of a numbers guy. So most of the time when we do things, whether it's a repair or anything, we get 3 estimates. So we go to a lot of open houses in the neighborhood just because we like to see what people are doing with their similar floor plans and things. And we met an agent at one of these that was far and above different and better than any of the others. So we decided to include him in our interview process. And
well, you're saying you're a numbers guy. I'm more of a feelings person. And so I wasn't really quite getting a great feeling off of this guy at first. And I had a really strong emotional connection, I think, to the realtor that I was bringing to the table. So it made it a little bit harder. And we had a lot more discussions on who to choose because I was just so gung-ho for this one realtor.
So we did end up having these 3 agents come to our house for an interview process. And each of them came well prepared for that interview with a personalized perspective on our house and the comps for the area and some different things. And as we just look at these binders, you see that this is just a little binder you buy at the dollar store. This one stepped it up a little bit better in that, you know, it seems to be sealed. And then this one feels more like a hardback book that's really well bound. And I mean, it's not how you don't pick an agent based on their presentation, but presentation is a lot. And this is them making an impression.
It is a lot. And let me just say that I don't know about you, but for me this day, interviewing these 3 agents was very overwhelming. It was a lot of information, and a lot of them kind of told the same information, but told it in a different way. So it still was a lot to digest.
Stay tuned. Later, we're going to tell you some important questions to ask in an interview. Tracey wanted to talk about some information she learned from an agent while we were doing the interviews, and that this is important.
Right. I'm going to steal the graphic in this one book that we got, but I think the natural reaction is people want to overinflate the price of their house when they first list to see if they can get the most out of it. But really the best thing is to price your house right first out of the gate, because you're going to have your most buyers in the first couple weeks. And as your house stays on the market for these coming weeks, your buyer pool lessens. So that is one of the things that we heard first, is to make sure out of the gate that you are pricing your house right.
Yes. And our house is a little bit different than any other in the neighborhood because it has a huge addition. So our square footage is a lot more than anybody else in our neighborhood, which makes getting comps difficult. But that square footage isn't translated to more bedrooms and bathrooms. We have a huge great room and game room. which makes it a nice, entertaining home, but that's not important to everybody.
Right. And like you said, having the biggest house in the neighborhood really is never a good thing. And we have the biggest house in the neighborhood because typically when the agents work out their comps, they're doing it like price per square foot. Well, that just doesn't work for our house here because nobody's going to pay that price if you're taking the typical price per square foot.
And we're 1,000 square feet bigger than everybody else.
And we have some quirks in this house. I know I've mentioned it before, but we have a jacuzzi, an in-ground jacuzzi built in our garage. So that's kind of weird. And we also really don't have a lot of yard. The addition took up a lot of the backyard, and the rest of the backyard is pool.
And the pool's nice. We've got a winding staircase that goes up to the roof, so you can jump off the roof into the 12-foot pool, which is kind of unique for the neighborhood because not everybody's is that deep. And it's got the pool is underneath the patio, so you can be in the pool and in the shade until like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, which is nice when you're in Arizona. It's 120 degrees that you're sitting in the shade for most of the day and still in the pool.
Yeah.
But these are things that you won't understand till you're experiencing it.
Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about the first impressions I got from these 3 different real estate agents that came in to talk to us. The first one that came was Joe's agent, and she was great. She was the one that I learned about the bell curve for pricing, but to me, she really stood out as a buyer's agent. She didn't really stand out as a seller's agent. And that kind of made me a little bit nervous.
And I'd used her as a buyer's agent. She helped me find this house. And hardworking woman, she was, we probably visited 60 homes before I picked this one. And then this one was a short sale. So it took us 9 months to close on it. So hardworking, great real estate agent. But as Tracey said, she's more of a buyer's agent.
And the second agent that came was actually my agent, but my agent is actually now living out of the country. So she referred a husband and wife team to us that she really has a lot of respect for. And I really did like them. I think I connected with them on an emotional basis. I liked the fact that we would be getting 2 agents for the price of 1. And they also mentioned that the wife actually comes in and stages the house, which I really, really liked that fact. And I don't know what your first impressions were of them.
Well, you dress for the job you want, and he showed up in shorts and a t-shirt, and that really didn't impress me. I think that if you're interviewing, you dress for the interview, and so I wasn't impressed with that. But yes, they did bring good information, and they did go a little further out to get comps than the other agents because they realized the uniqueness of this home. And so that was impressive.
Yeah, and the last agent that came was the agent that we found at an open house right down the street, and it pretty much had the same floor plan as our house except for the addition that we have. And to me at first he seemed like a typical car salesman.
He was well dressed and very businesslike.
Yeah. But he grew on me because I really did like the fact that, because we had to take the agents through our home, each of the agents through our home. And, they would be pointing out things that we needed to fix. And, we would point out the quirky things of our house. And he, as he was going through, would be saying how he would be working that into a story that he would tell about this house.
So that leads us to the next point we want to talk about, the important questions to ask when you're interviewing agents, because you don't just pick an agent out of the Yellow Pages and say, boom, that's my agent. You want to have some sort of a rapport with them. I think the most important questions we asked were, 1, why should we pick you? This gives them a chance to excel, stand out, and differentiate themselves from the others. And then the other is, what do you do different than any other agent? And one of the things that I liked most about the agent we picked was in this area. He stressed how for each home that he sells, he puts up an individual web page, which does a lot for you. As you know, in marketing, it lets you get some real analytics on who's looking at houses and what they like about it. He also draws up floor plans for every house, so that and another thing that he showed in his book was where sales are really coming from, and that's one of the first things he said. But I wasn't aware that 60% of sales are done online, or the people find the house online, which is important because well, I don't need to show you that because it's just the numbers. But so he has a dedicated web page where you're going to see a floor plan and a slideshow that does a walkthrough and a virtual tour, a YouTube video of your home. And that really impressed me because the houses I do remember looking at had these things, and the other agents weren't saying they were going to do those things every time.
Yeah, it really, before we chose him, it really was a discussion over several days between the two of us, because I was more leaning towards the couple and he was more leaning towards the guy that we met on the open house. And
in a way I was leaning towards the couple also because they were 0.5% less expensive than he is. And we need every penny we can get out of this house, but sometimes you get what you pay for. And
another thing we did do is we were told about a website called homes.com where you can look up the sales figures of the agents. And so we did compare. We had already written off the first agent that we thought was the buyer's agent. So it was really between the two. And so we did compare the home sales, and I want to say the couple
had a lot more sales. And so we ended up asking the agent we chose why. That we told him this was a determining factor, and he said, and he explained to us, and we were able to verify that he had taken 5 months off the year before to do home flips, which means that his sales weren't as high, but it made it a viable and understandable explanation for why his numbers weren't as good. And if we looked a year back, his numbers were on par with the others.
Right. Plus the price of the homes that he sold was actually quite a bit higher than the price of the homes that the couple sold.
Yes, that was important. And he doesn't just make these numbers up. It's like everybody else. You have to get comps, and you have to see what the market will bear for that house. And then, as he says, you have to tell the story to make people appreciate why that house is worth.
Right. And not only did he list that house, that we went into the open home, but it actually sold within a couple weeks, and it closed. So, and he told us that there was some issues with that house. I want to say it had to deal with the solar. It had leased solar, but he was able to spin that somehow into the story of the home to make it come out a positive thing rather than leased solar is typically a negative thing.
Yeah. And we have purchased solar here, so and that is if you're considering solar in Arizona, go for it, because I used to have phone power bills as high as $600 a month. I haven't seen anything over $200. Since we put up the solar with the battery backup. It's a little peace of mind, because if the neighborhood loses power, we're still up. Not for everything, but we selectively put the important things to us on that backup battery. And another nice thing about that backup battery is during peak hours of the day, it will drain the battery down to 10%. It doesn't do that if there's a storm expected. So that in the event you need your backup battery for a battery, you've got that. But I just want to share information because solar is a wonderful investment. It's more than paid for itself. It may have taken 9 years to pay for itself, but
and hopefully it'll help bring a little bit more into the value of this home. Whoever buys it next. But anyway, so hopefully we made the right decision. We are going to be putting our home on the market. We're shooting for May 1st.
We will probably do another video soon to show some of the repairs we've done.
Yes.
As we get them done, we haven't been taking a lot of pictures in the process, but we have got a lot done, and so it's kind of nice.
Pretty much every weekend since we met with these realtors has been spent doing something to get this house ready for sale. So,
and as soon as we finish this video, we're back at it.
I know, but we're going to take you along on this journey with us. And we did plan a trip next month to go back out to Alabama. We're meeting with 3 builders. So hopefully you'll join us for that journey.
Yeah.
Because that's been a journey also. That's a whole nother video.
Yeah, we realized that the cost of building has gone up more than 20% in just a year. So we have some decisions to make.
Right. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing some videos on that. So make sure if you want to see those to subscribe to our channel so you get notified when those come up.
Thanks again for joining us on this journey. We really appreciate the time we spend here. And remember to make comments. If you want to see something or know something, let us know. We read the comments and we work it into the videos. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, and comment in about early retirement, like looking for lake homes or lots to build a lake home, selling.
Oh, we totally didn't talk about it, but it's the pre-marketing on the home is also important. But 2 of the agents were pretty consistent on that, so we didn't mention it here because it wasn't a deciding factor. But it is something to consider when you're picking your real estate agent.
Right. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.